What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. This is episode 355 of the show, and what we're going to go ahead and do today is we're going to go ahead, because it's Wednesday, so everybody's going out there, they've recapped UFC 279, but what we're going to go ahead and do today in 10 minutes or less, we're going to go ahead and give you all the storylines, our thoughts, and what should be next for each one of these competitors, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Thank you, everybody who's watching live right now on YouTube, on the Fight Podcast YouTube page. Make sure you check out everything, like, share, subscribe, listen to the Fight Podcast everywhere podcasting is available: Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. I'm telling you, when you subscribe, it really helps us out. Please go ahead and do that. Also, we have merch. I'd be remiss to tell you guys about the merch. And I know we got to get all this stuff done before the show starts, but it is what it is. So remember, check us out, Etsy.com/shop/thefightpodshop. Fantastic merch there. Everything there is a champion brand in terms of the sweatshirts and hoodies. We also have mugs. Check those out today. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Obviously, the biggest news of the week, and one of the things that as MMA fans, as combat sports fans specifically, I feel like a lot of times we don't have those warm and fuzzy feelings because so much is taken away from us. We're not getting the fights that we want. Things are changing last minute. And if we're looking at 279, it had every little bit of drama that could have possibly happened. Now, look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so you're not going to get us out here talking about, look, I think this happened and Dana White was pulling the strings. He was the wizard behind the curtain. I'm not even going to go there. But what we are going to go ahead and do is do this. We're going to go ahead and break down every aspect of it, because from the changes in opponents last minute, be honest with you guys, that was absolutely ridiculous. And for me, prime example, and yes, I understand the conspiracy theories, because as we know, everything got shuffled around because KHAMZAT Chimaev, who was supposed to headline this card against Nathan Diaz, ended up missing weight by 7.5 pounds. I mean, so when you have somebody miss weight by that much, that egregiously, and things are shifted around, and not only are things shifted around, they don't seem to get punished at all. People are going to go ahead and look at it and say, yo, there's something else going on here that we don't know. Maybe something sinister. But so I understand those gripes, and Dana needs to understand that as well, because I'll be very honest with you. KHAMZAT Chimaev should not have been on this card. KHAMZAT Chimaev missed weight by as much as he did. So at the end of the day, you have to punish him. You have to fine him. Nothing happened, to the point that they even made the fight. They didn't even say he missed weight. They made the match a catch weight. So he wasn't punished at all. It is one of those things that you look at and you really think that it's, look, it is what it is. I digress. Let's go ahead and talk about the star of the show, though. The star of the show had to be Nathan Diaz. Nate Diaz goes out there the only way that he knows how and submits Tony Ferguson in the fourth round via guillotine right at 209. I know it's going to say 208, but when they locked it in, it was 209 of the fourth round. As we all know, 209 is the area code, Stockton, California, where Nate Diaz is from. He always calls it out 209 and shit. So salute to that. But he did it in the way, and look, was the fight the most entertaining fight in the world? No, but it's the type of fight that should have happened. Nathan Diaz, being 37 years old, legend in the sport, needs to go out there and compete against other OGs like Tony Ferguson. And now, think about it. What's next for him? Whatever he wants. Nathan Diaz was out there with repping his own brand. He has a fight promotion coming out. And on top of that, he's probably going to go out there and box whomever he wants. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I know we have Jake Paul fighting Anderson Silva. There's history of both of them. Jake Paul called out Nathan Diaz. Anderson Silva fought, his big brother, Nick Diaz. So there's history there. Whoever the winner of that fight is might end up getting Nathan Diaz, which would be absolutely crazy. Nate Diaz leaves the UFC, one of the biggest stars. And I'll be very honest with you. And yes, Nate used to go back and forth at times where he wasn't getting, not only the matchups, he had, swaths of time where he wasn't, even fighting 1-2 years at a time. But the UFC is going to feel this. Nate Diaz is one of the biggest stars the company has. And now with Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, who knows what's going on with him, it's going to be interesting to see what's going on going forward with the UFC. All right, let's go ahead and move on from that. Salute to Nate Diaz, the legend, 209 stand up. All right, moving right along. the second half of this is what's next for Tony Ferguson. After the fight, Tony goes out there and says that, look, I feel greater than ever. I feel it, and I'm ready. I'm going to make a run at 170. Look, Father Time comes for us all. It is what it is. Tony Ferguson needs to hang it up, and Tony Ferguson, hopefully, he has people around him that are in his life that are going to tell him as such. 5 losses in a row, and here's the thing. It's not like he's just losing. Split decision here or there, whatever the case may be. That's not what's happening. Tony Ferguson is getting sunned. He's going out here, and this was the closest of fights, but it's the little things, right? It's the way that he's turning his back and running from like a Nate Diaz in the spin. He doesn't seem in control of his body in the same way. I don't know, man. It's an exponential decline that I have seen, and it's truly an unfortunate thing. What do we do with somebody like Tony Ferguson? Who can you give him to? You're not going to give him to one of the top guys at 170 pounds. And even think about this. Somebody who is, let's say, at 170, who is not even ranked in the top 15 that will sell fights, is somebody like, I don't know, let's think of Big Mouth himself. You got somebody like Kevin Holland who's out there who is at 170, who's not ranked in the top 15. What are you going to do? Give Tony Ferguson somebody like that? I'm sorry, man. I hate to say this, especially with legends. It's time to go. All right. Also on this card, the reason that we had all the shifts and the reason that he wasn't in that main event was because of, at the end of the day, we had KHAMZAT Chimaev. KHAMZAT Chimaev goes out there, and look, KHAMZAT is extremely talented. Not only is KHAMZAT Chimaev extremely talented, he's one of those guys that, let's be honest, he might be the best first-round fighter. I've always said Conor McGregor is the best first-round fighter that I've ever seen. KHAMZAT Chimaev is better than that. He goes out there and absolutely blitzes people in the first round. And the level of intensity that he has, look, man, I've been following this sport since the 90s. It's a scary thing to watch. The dude is an absolute killer. He's a monster. And if we're looking at it in terms of, but that's not the question, right? The question I pose is, does KHAMZAT have the mentality to be a long-time champion? And I question that. Yes, he has the intensity, but his emotions, the way that he lost his cool during the Gilbert Burns fight, the way that, he seems as if, he's running up and down, and he's freaking out. But at the same time, he was cool, calm, and collective enough to just run through very solid game plan and do what he had to do to Kevin Holland. So, look, when it boils down to it, KHAMZAT Chimaev will win gold at some weight class at some point in time in the UFC. How long would he keep it? Well, obviously, we will find out. It's funny, interesting. Even Khabib Nurmagomedov went out there and said that essentially he had, and again, I'm paraphrasing, quoting. Essentially, he was saying that he has nobody that really has his best interest at heart. He was like, he essentially has a bunch of yes men. He doesn't have any good Muslims or something like that, he said. But it's an interesting topic. Also, last thing on the KHAMZAT fight, the fake, the glove touch. The more I look at it, look, he did the exact same thing, Li Jingliang. That's what you do. You fake high, you go low, you touch gloves already at the beginning. I'm not mad at it. Let's move on. All right. Rest of 279 was interesting, right? When we go out of it, Li Jingliang, the dude who was absolutely the most screwed over guy at UFC 279, loses to Daniel Rodriguez. I'm a huge fan of Daniel Rodriguez. It was a close fight. There is no robbery. I do believe Li Jingliang should have won that fight. Irene Aldana goes out there and beats Macy Chiasson via TKO, via up kick, liver kick. One of the craziest things you'll see. She also gets a performance bonus. Salute to her. Johnny Walker beats Ian Cutelabra. He also gets a performance bonus, but then he ended up getting locked out of UFC 279. Wild stuff. Johnny Walker is a crazy dude. All in all, man, the card was entertaining. Was it one of the best cards out there? No, but the storylines and everything else that brought it together, the card ended up being a better card. the day of the fight than it was originally constructed. Those were the matchups that probably should have happened in the first place. And look, all these guys and women are going places. KHAMZAT is going to win a title. How long? Like I said, I do not know. Nate Diaz is going to make a lot of money. Not only is Nate going to make a lot of money, I really believe when he says he's going to show these fighters how you're supposed to get it done. Kevin Holland will be back. Tony Ferguson needs to shut it down. But with that being said, it's been about 10 minutes. And this is what we do. Episode 355 of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast, in 10 minutes or less. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, it does so much for us, man. We really appreciate you guys. Make sure you listen to the Fight Podcast everywhere podcasting is available: Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Also, make sure you should get our merch. We have merch as well. Check us out, etsy.com/shop/the Fight Pod Shop. And last but certainly not least, we also have many other shows. Check out our pro wrestling show, The Royal Rundown. You can see it live on the Scrap News, the fastest growing YouTube channel in all combat sports. Check them out for fantastic combat sports journalism. Also, you can hear that show and many others on all those podcasting platforms. All right, guys. Love y'all. We will see you next time right here on the Fight Podcast. I'm Serg Vicente, the host. Make sure you guys go out here and follow me too, @SergVicente. Love y'all. Peace.